Tired, weary, frustrated? What would you be doing if you weren't raising children alone? What's stopping you from living your best life now? On SoloMoms Talk, I discuss with solo mothers the challenges you face raising children alone. So if you're a working solo mom dealing with independent children, insensitive bosses, weight and health issues, or even debt collectors, join us as we discover your path to get and stay healthy, increase your income, and live with joy and purpose.
In this battle of life, it's hard to keep your head above the water. So win this fight.
My guest today is Charlotte Barrett. Charlotte, I'm so happy to interview you today. When I first started SoloMoms Talk, you were one of my first few moms that, talked about your story. But today we're here to see where you are in life. And I wanted to start by telling us, who is Charlotte?
Yeah, well, thank you again, Jen, for having me on the podcast. It's been a pleasure to witness the growth and you still be sharing this valuable content nearly 4 years later. So thank you. So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Charlotte Barrett. I'm based in London, UK. I'm a business coach and consultant, and more importantly, a mother, now to two. I think the first podcast we did, I just had my oldest daughter, who's now 13, and I have a younger one who's 3 years old as well, a toddler as well. So I'm in between those two stages. So I am an entrepreneur at heart. I said I'm a business coach and consultant. I run my business alongside my business partner. We provide a number of services, particularly to women in corporate who are building a business alongside their 9 to 5. I also do some other bits and pieces, which I'm sure we'll chat about today. And I just hope that this podcast is going to be of value to any of you guys, share my tips and tricks and my story along the way. And hopefully it will be of some use.
Yeah, awesome. You also have a podcast, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
We podcast called Think, Create, Initiate. So we've been doing that for the last few years as well. So from one fellow podcaster to another. So I appreciate you're still here for 4 years later. It is the work, but it is so enjoyable. So yeah, our podcast is for those who are on the journey to building their business. Right in the usually early stages is a mixture of solo podcasts between myself and my co-host, as well as we have guests on who share their journey, how they've built their business and what it took to steps along the way. So yes, I do that.
All right. Pretty awesome. When I interviewed you, you just had your second child. And I was so amazed that you had that baby in your lap while you had your business in your lap, right? It was like,
yes.
It was like minding two babies at the same time. So that's awesome. And to see you now, this is just unbelievable. All right. So the topic at hand is you're helping working women, outearn their current salary, their current income. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
What kind of mind shift does someone have to start to think that, I'm not making enough. I need to replace this, but I also need to do it myself?
Yeah. Well, I think if anything, the last couple of years, we've obviously gone through COVID, etc. I've seen a natural shift in people understanding that basically we need to have more eggs in one basket because we never know when things can shift and things can change literally in an instant. But the shifts that need to happen for that to become more than just a thought, which many people have a thought, whether they're going to start a business, write a book, and 20 years later you might meet them and they've still not done it. But what really is a predominant shift is that actually it's identity. And this is something I spend a large part of my programs, what I work with women in, working on first. It's an identity shift. It's seeing yourself as something other than an employee, maybe other than a mum, maybe other than a partner or wife, whatever it may be, and seeing yourself as an identity, as a boss, I like to call my lady CEO, and as someone that can be in charge of bringing in money, earning, because there's such a difference between earning your own money and receiving it in exchange for time for money. So it starts with a massive identity shift, seeing yourself as something more and being able to understand that you have value to give to the world as well. We do have to do a lot of work around identity shift first for you to take those steps, because I always say you can have the best marketing plan, you can have the best strategy, but if you don't see yourself as that person that can take that action, it's not going to happen, it's not going to work, and it's just become something you wish you had done in life.
Yes, yeah, that is so true. So instead of seeing the power in your boss or your company, you shift that power to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a massive transformation that can happen, because if you think you've been conditioned for X amount of years, wherever you are in your journey on Earthside, however old you are, that you have had this identity, you're an employee, you need to wait until you get things authorized, depending on what kind of position you're in. You need to be said, yes, that's good enough. You need to be, it's always been about that permission, even if you've gone through the whole schooling system, the whole system we've been reared at, it's usually wait to seek permission. As an entrepreneur, it's a completely different. You have to go out and you have to do your thing in order for you to be successful. It's about momentum. So being able to see yourself as something more, and also being able to validate yourself. So a lot of the times I find in life, and as women as well, we seek validation externally. But when you can start to validate yourself that, yes, this idea is good. Yes, I'm able to charge this. Yes, I am a CEO. Yes, I can make money, whatever it may be, wherever you are on your journey. When you validate yourself and you don't need that external validation, you can take those steps that bit quick, and you can start to build your business, start to implement, and start to out earn your wages and build your empire, which is ultimately my thing is for the ladies that I'm working with. Build an empire, build something hopefully that can last beyond you, because it's, for me as well personally, I just think we're trying to break cycles here as well. So it's about, it is about seeing that shift in that external validation, and also feeling safe within yourself. If you want to go a little bit deeper, that you feel safe enough to make a decision and back your own decision without needing anyone else to do it. And that's massive, as I said, particularly we haven't gone through society with that. We've always had to look outside, with parents, school, etc. So now when I'm saying to you as a woman, you want to start your business, okay, I've got to have my own back. I've got to feel safe with myself. I've got to have my own validation. That's when the tricky bit starts. It's obviously achievable. That's when you have to start working on that identity to see yourself as that woman.
Yes. Thank you. I wanted to touch on the mindset part, because I know that's one of the biggest things preventing us from doing whatever it is that we think we should be doing. So thank you. Okay. All right. So what's the biggest pitfall to avoid when you're thinking about this new mindset, this new way of doing things for you?
I think the biggest pitfall, especially operating in the online space, was where predominantly a lot of my work is to be comparing yourself to someone else's journey. It's massive and it is so easy to do. But the thing, as soon as you start comparing yourself, one, what happens, you're comparing your journey. Say you and someone else started a business at the same time, and all of a sudden you see them doing X, Y, Z, income-wise, whatever, maybe you're at a certain pace. What we don't understand is that energy, that focus of comparing ourselves, one, is already slowing us down, because we need to be focused on what we are doing to create a different reality for ourselves. But two, you do not know, and this is the biggest pitfall, you do not know what that person's been through prior. This may be their 20th business, well, this is your first, right? You could be looking at them and they've already learned, because part of business and moving forward and growing is about failing forward X amount of times. They could have fell forward in an area you're just trying for the first time, and they've mastered, they've understood the concept, they've understood the pitfalls, they've understood what works, what doesn't. And that's why this may be 20th business that you're both doing, maybe in the same niche. They've got further ahead quicker, but you don't know the backstory. And we do this so many times, not just in business and in life. Again, you may see another mum like, oh my gosh, how come they're doing this? They seem to have it all down, the perfect Pinterest mum, whatever it is. But you don't know the backstory. You don't know what family they've been cultivating. You don't know what roles and responsibilities, how much other children they've had. And this pitfall stops us from just being intentional for what we want. And we end up, in turn, it works negatively because we slow ourselves down. And we start to bring in all these different ideas, and we're looking at elsewhere, and it's our journey is our journey. And I think when we start to focus on our journey, to, as you know, this whole saying as well, compete against ourselves, no one else, that's how we get better, and that's how we see progress, and that's how we move forward according to the path that's laid out for us, because it is all different. And I just see that, and I've made that mistake numerous times as well. So that's why I can share that from experience, but it is the biggest pitfall.
Yeah, I think that's something that all of us suffer from. And, especially when we're coming from a place of trauma or, some not very good experiences, then we lack the self-esteem to move forward. So thank you for addressing that. Yeah. All right. Got one more for you. What's the number one thing everyone should do tomorrow to kickstart their efforts?
Okay, it's all, for me, everything that you have been wanting to do, it's just making a step already today. I say, and it's so cliche about what you can do tomorrow. If you can do it today, do it now. It is. And I try and live by this. Over the last couple of years, lost a lot of people around me, and it just brings in force how quickly we don't know if we're going to even be here tomorrow. Not getting morbid, but it's the reality of it. So everything you're saying, you can do tomorrow. If you can do it today, whether it be like, okay, I've got a particular idea for a business I wanted to do, I'm going to start researching tomorrow. No, start the research now. Even if it's 2 minutes, that's 2 minutes ahead of what you've got to do. I mean, if we're talking in logical terms, in terms of how to start a business, there is some logical steps. It's filtering, first of all, deciding the business maybe you want to do, and you can use that logically by going through a filter. Is the industry going to be profitable? What kind of time do you have? Do you have more money or time? Is it scalable? Do you have the logistics to deliver it? They can be some filter questions. You can decide on what business you want to do. Then it's about the implementation. So you have all the skill sets that you have now. And I say this with all areas of life, where can you bring in help? So say, for instance, you want to start a business, can you get someone to support you who's done it already? Or can you get a mentor or coach? Can you go on YouTube? Is there getting that help already? If it's another part of your life, because I like to look at this all holistically, because I think it feeds in business, feeds in with life, motherhood, etc. Can you bring in help? If maybe you want to start a business and you've got kids, can you bring in someone that can maybe watch your kids 1 hour a week or something, that you can just make that start? But it's about taking action, and people often are scared to take the action because they don't have the confidence. But what you don't understand, the confidence comes naturally once you've taken the action and you've built that evidence bank. That's how the confidence comes. It doesn't come before. It's not something you can order, but you have to take the action to start to get to the results. That's going to feed your self-esteem. Once self-esteem is up, you get more confidence, and you take bigger actions, and it's like a snowball effect. But you have to take that first step forward.
Yes, for sure. Do it now.
Yes.
Yeah, do it now. Yes. Thank you. So what is Charlotte grateful for today? Gratitude is one of my favorite topics, and I'd love to hear what you're grateful for today.
Well, I am, above all, I'm grateful to be speaking to you internationally across the pond, and this is why I love the online space. We met 4 years ago and were able to still continue and pick up a conversation, a valuable conversation, which I believe is valuable to so many and those listening. And we're able to connect. I just think it's a beautiful thing, and we don't know where our paths are going to go. And I think part of me, the exciting part of life is just the unknown. And just that we can connect again and we can have this conversation, I think it's really beautiful. So for that, I am truly grateful. I never take these things for granted as well. And grateful to be here as well and just sharing things I've learned along the way, and for be able to make an impact with other people across the world. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so tell us about your services and tell us how to get in touch with you, how to connect, and all that good stuff.
So the main service is coaching and consulting. So you can find me across the social media platforms. I go into a bit more about what we do: Instagram, TikTok, then LinkedIn, YouTube. Not as active on YouTube. So across all Charlotte Barrett, if you tend to look, you should find me. And usually in the title was business coaching consultant. So what we do, we have a number of services. So in terms of supporting our women in corporate who are building their online businesses, have a membership, which I love. And that's a low entry point that we always keep, saying $27 a month. And that's for women to come into our safe space, to be seen and heard. Sometimes you could be taking these steps, as we said, but everyone around you personally thinks you're a bit crazy to be dreaming so big or wanting to do these things. So we always want to have a safe space, accessible price point where you can come in, you can get guidance and training from myself and my business partner, Grace, once a week. You've got the support of other women. And that's been going for about 1.5 years now. It's a lovely small group and it's really intimate. I love our membership there as well. That's something we do and continue to do. We have our mastermind masterminds as well. We run those 3 times live a year, and that's intensive 4 months where we actually work with you in all the areas. Part of our framework is we have a framework which is attributed to our podcast, Think, Create, Initiate. And what we do is work with you on your mindset. We work with you on your marketing plan. We work with you how to scale your business as well. And we make sure that all those points are set. So we do that in our mastermind, really, really focused, 4 months blast, that's there as well. And we have the evergreen course that we run as well, where people can jump in, they get coaching from us once a month, and they get accountability coach as well, which is based off the same framework, except that runs throughout the whole year. So they're the main services that we run as well. Additionally, something else I also do as well, I create content for brands as well called UGC. So I do a lot of brand work and do some bits and pieces with my youngest daughter as well. So that's something fun that I'm doing again on the outside as well. I believe, and I always preach as well, diversify your income, try and keep as many income streams coming, especially as mums, especially as women. So important that you're setting the base as well, and that you can use that to then invest in further things that can become passive and come back to you.
Right. Thank you. And we'll put those links in the show notes so people could have access to them. And I like to talk about what you're doing as a solo mom, because sometimes we have a lot of excuses about why we can't do something, because we don't have the time and it's just me alone and there's nobody else. And, it's just me and my kids need me. And I've been watching you for almost 4 years as a solo mom, managing your children, managing your life, and managing a business. And you're doing different parts of your business. And so I'm very grateful that you were able to come and share this, because you can help someone dispel their excuses, so Thank you. Yeah.
No, thank you. And I think time does crop up again and again. But the first thing I always say is you have to start to look at time again. And it's everything, if you want to progress, how can you take your power back? So rather than thinking that time is running you, how can you start to run time? Again, that starts with how you view time, and you understand time is a gift. So where can I better manage my time? And that's always the first thing. Obviously, I will never underestimate how hard it is to look after kids, run a business, you're working as well, but it can be done. But it takes intentionality. It takes understanding, okay, what is the things that I can do to move forward to my goals that's going to give me a better investment on time. So whereas you may have 1 hour, if you spend that 1 hour maybe watching something that isn't going to be progressive towards your future, however, you can take that time back, that 1 hour, and instead maybe do some research, maybe do that ebook that you've been wanting to do that's going to start to bring you income. Like, how can you switch it around? Where can you get more productive? What can you start to say no to? It's going to take intentional time to say, okay, give yourself say, okay, for instance, minimum 6 months. I've got 6 months. I'm just going to focus on moving forward. I'm going to really look at my time. I'm going to start to manage it. I'm going to take my power back. And then it starts to get really instrumental. I mean, one of the things I'm doing with the ladies in my membership at the moment, we're following the process, the 12-week year. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's about compacting what you would do in a year in 12 weeks. It's a great book, and I'd recommend everyone go and do it. Mm-hmm. And that means you have to start to get very, very granular with what the time you have, especially ladies that I work with. So sitting aside once a week, a certain amount of time, dedicating 30 minutes time. Okay, what do I need to do every day to move forward? And how can I move forward with that? And then I always say, where can you seek help? So for instance, I make sure I do get help, but I didn't always, each level has progressed. My business grew. I started to get an accountant to do that stuff, take that time off my hand. Started to get a VA to bring it in. My sister, she's a great auntie, once a month, she would come and take my kids for the whole day on a Saturday. So I'd batch create all my content to make sure that's ready for the week. Where can you start to do that? Or if you can't do that, if you're working, can you use that lunch hour? Can you start to say no and actually have your lunch hour and use that time productively, plan ahead what you need to do and get that done? If you just start to take back the reins and use the tools you do have, like I say, for instance, your Google Calendar, your alarm clock on your phone, how can you use that to keep you focused, keep you intentional, and connect with your vision on a day by day so that you're motivated to move forward? And use the kids, the no time, all of those excuses, use it as your fuel use that as a reason why as opposed to a reason not. And that is going to help you move forward. And it's not going to be every day that you feel like it, but that's when we then level up and you put systems in place that keep your business running when you don't feel like it. And I do say it's important, even if you're moving forward, you're building a business, something I do, I still make sure I schedule at least a day a week where I'm doing something fun, or I'm present with my kids, or I'm switched off, so that gives me the fuel to re-energize and keep on going on those other days as well. So it's not easy, but it's completely possible. But it starts with the intention that actually you're going to make it happen. You're going to take the power back. And I think that's how you're going to move forward in every area of life. You take that mindset, that attitude, and then the things will fall into place of the tools that you need to make that happen.
Thank you. I think we just got a coaching session.
Yeah, we did. And that's
there you go. Yeah, we just got a free coaching session. Thank you, Charlotte. Wow, this is amazing. I appreciate you. And any parting shots, especially for the solo mom? I know you just went into a short session about what we could do to free up our time. But any parting shot, because I really appreciate you coming, and I'm going to let you go because I could sit here all day and talk to you, but I'm on vacation. So
yes, you are. You've got to So parting shots, I would just say, particularly single moms, you've got my heart because I am one. And for me, it's the most important for solo moms, single moms, to be able to be financially secure. And that is going to start, you're going to have to do some things that are going to feel uncomfortable. But what I would say, because as a solo mum and single mum, it's natural that usually you hold that independent trait that you will do it yourself. But the biggest thing you can do is just start to ask for help. If you're in any type of group or thing, start to ask questions. Don't feel shy. It doesn't make you any less of we try and put this superhuman cape on. Ask questions. If you can, get a coach, get a mentor. If you're watching YouTube video, leave a comment under there if you don't understand something. Start to seek help in as much areas as possible. You don't need to do it yourself. And that's how it's going to start to become easier. And I promise your kids are going to benefit so much when they see you moving forward, you being uncomfortable and you pushing the boundaries. And I think that's the biggest seed you can plant in your children, is to do the uncomfortable and show things that maybe statistics and everyone else would have thought is not possible for you. So just make it bigger than yourself and understand wherever your current situations at the moment, that doesn't have to be your future and it doesn't define you. It's just one step at a time. So if you could take one step today, do it, and it's going to get easier and the other steps will start to come into place, what you need to do.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Charlotte Barrett, entrepreneur and business coach. And check out our podcast, Think, Initiate, Create. Do I have that right?
Think, Create, Initiate. So yes, Think, Create, and that's our signature framework, because it's easy for you to think, but then how do you go to create and how do you go to initiate the actual idea? So that's the premise of the framework.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Jen, so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Sure.